Well, good morning. Good morning. We
Hello,
are
everybody.
here getting started with our very first Overland Coffee Talk.
Welcome, welcome.
All right. Well, Phil, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about ourselves, some self-aggrandization, but really just introduce ourselves, figure out who we are, what we're doing here, talk about our trucks because, it's all about getting the cool stuff. Go over some cool other people that we follow and get inspired by. And then we're going to talk about some cool things, some gear that we like, and then we'll close it out and get more people to join the Discord.
Absolutely. And if you are watching us on YouTube, we've got a Discord that is linked there. So go ahead and check it out, sign up, and come join us where we can talk overlanding 24/7, all the days of the year, all the time zones in the world, all over the place. We've got members from Africa, we've got members from Asia, from Europe. Looking for Australia. Come on, guys. We know you're big over there. Bring it
All
up.
right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, coffee talk, right? We're here. We've got our coffee. It's
Mm,
early, and we're
it
trying to
is.
do it, man. All
Exactly.
right. Well, this is episode one of what will hopefully be a really fun show for you guys to participate in. With the Discord, it gives us the opportunity for people to ask questions and to participate. And as we go forward, if we've got the interest, we'll even be able to bring guests up on the show. So it'll be really fun. Um, we're gonna talk about ourselves, like he said, and we're gonna talk about each other. And if you have any questions, you can send them to questions@overlanddc.com. All right. So to get it started off, Phil, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Thank you. Um, I am a Californian originally, so I'm one of those that eventually made my way to Arizona. I'm in northern Arizona. Always been a gearhead. I didn't really get into overlanding or 4x4s or anything until about 4 years ago, and just it was a whole new world to me. I always used to love like driving around on curvy mountain roads and stuff like that. And so being able to do the dirt side and say, hey, where does that dirt road go? Was a really welcome addition. And for me, it's all just about getting outdoors, experiencing nature, and seeing something that you don't see every day.
Absolutely. Well, what was your first vehicle?
First car, we can do that, or we can do first off-road vehicle. Which one would you want to go into?
Well, let's do intros. So we'll just do whatever. What was your first set of four wheels?
The first set of four wheels was a 1984 Ford LTD station wagon. And this isn't the big one. Okay, this is the little one based on the Fox body platform that's, of course, the Fox body Mustang. Now, that's important because my dad figured out that all the Mustang parts bolt right in. And so this was an 84 LTD wagon with basically an 89 Mustang underneath it, all the suspension, even the dash, everything. It was such a fun car, and you could pile all your buddies in it. You could get into mischief and mayhem in it, and it was a really fun car. And I actually still have a Fox Body Mustang in the garage. My dad still builds those wagons. He's built three of them, so it's kind of a constant. If you put me into Fox Body, I can tell you just about anything about it. Way into those cars.
That's really awesome. All right. Well, that was your first set of four wheels. What's your first overland vehicle
It's
or
my
off-road vehicle?
wife's Outback. Yeah, it's a 2011 Outback. We still have it. Um, the story of that is we had that lowered BMW wagon, um, which we also should have never sold, but that's a whole different story. But we went up to a wolf conservation center in Julian, outside of San Diego in California. And it was a really cool experience, but we had to drive for like half a mile on dirt roads in this slammed wagon. We are like, okay, this is dumb. And at the time I had a different lowered race car Mustang. And so it's like, okay, we have nothing that can even like drive off, onto a simple dirt road. Like this is probably wrong. And so we found the Outback, which is a 6-speed manual because my wife doesn't know how to drive automatic, as we like to say.
Yeah.
And then we just started exploring the same kind of mountains that we drive fast in the lowered cars in, but exploring the dirt side. And it was great, and we kind of fell in love with it.
Right on. Well, my very first vehicle was a. It wasn't mine. The very first vehicle that I drove was a
Hmm.
1942 Willys Jeep.
Wow.
Um, it was super cool. I was working as a ranch hand at a place called Mountain Meadows in Arizona, and it's up by Payson, east of
Gotcha.
Payson, up to the kind of where the lakes are going over there.
Gotcha.
But it was a 100 acre wood, and we had to drive off road, and the roads were terrible there. And so the first vehicle I ever drove really was this 1942 Willys Jeep, and it was hilarious.
Wow.
The guy that owned it, his name was Bobby. He had put a two-stroke motorcycle engine in it because he was very, very industrious, and money was short and time was long. And
Right?
so this vehicle he had just literally put together out of whatever people would give him and would donate. And when something would break, he would just figure out another way to make it work. He
Yeah.
was a backyard engineer, but also a real life engineer who had decided to escape the city and wanted to live out in the woods. And so that was what he was doing. And he was driving that old crazy Jeep. And
Wow.
if you ever see this Jeep, you will know that you have seen this Jeep because it's a light blue
Hmm.
with um with Yosemite Sam, the character, hand painted on the bonnet.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
he's like doing the whole thing and doing the whole stance, and it's actually hilarious and funny. And if I ever see that vehicle on the road somewhere, I'm gonna buy it because it was
Oh,
awesome.
you have to. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Yeah, that.
that's one of those first memories. It's just totally ridiculous. And not pictured here, the two first Jeeps that I owned. I don't have any pictures of one of them. The other one I do, but yeah, it's a red Jeep. It was a CJ5 1980,
Nice.
and I'm in one of those positions where if I ever find one online and the bank account matches the cost, I'll probably be apologizing to my wife and explaining I've got to bring it home.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, and I'll kind of tag into that more later. But yeah, super fun. So that Jeep was really one of the first vehicles that I personally owned that was kind of off-roading, overlandy, that kind of stuff. And from that day on, I loved Jeep life. And
Nice.
but the other Jeep that I owned was I don't even know what year it was. No idea. It was a delivery Jeep. You've seen the
Wow, one of the mail
USPS.
Jeeps.
Yep, driving a
Oh
mail
man.
Jeep, and it was so cool. And again, another one of those things where it's like, if I had any kind of foresight or place to
Oh,
store things, I would love to have kept that because holy cow, such a cool classic vehicle, right hand
mhm.
drive. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just so much fun, and you don't know what you're giving up when you get rid of things like that.
No.
And I have really learned my lesson in that. And at some point in time, I need to just find some acreage so I can store some stuff.
I I'd go in on you with that one, right? It's
It would be worth it.
as
But
my dad likes to say, the pattern is full. You can't have any other toys. Man.
yeah, and that's really the truth, right? Because once you fill up the garage and the yard out front and
Yeah.
whatever, it's probably time to stop.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that brought me to my third Jeep that I owned, which is pictured here on the right, I believe. It's the black JKU. That was an '08, I believe, and it was super fun.
Hmm.
More stories to tell about it. One time, it did end up the the rod up front. They had welded the the
Is it
thing.
the trailing arm for the
Yeah,
crossovers? Yeah, for the steering.
yeah. They had welded it together, and they'd done a poor job. And
Oops.
this story is just insane. I've been home from Afghanistan for literally a week when I bought this vehicle, and I had had some fun experiences there, and I'm home for a week, and I buy this thing, and I drive it home from the lot, and I'm driving it to work, and it shears, and so
Oh Lord.
it sheared, and the front end of the Jeep bounced up,
Oh no, it
and
caught.
I thought I had thought I had driven over an IED
I bet.
because
Yeah. Like,
I've had some kind of that experience,
mhm.
and I'm like, ah.
Yeah,
I,
you're freaking out.
I totally went to pieces. My brand new vehicle, and I just drove over an IED, and I'm in the States, right? Where am I? So yeah, that was pretty amazing. Wow.
You weren't in
Fortunately,
Baghdad, Arizona, were you?
I was not in Baghdad, Arizona, but it kind of felt like it.
Right?
Oh man. So yeah, so that brings
Jeez.
me to the next pictured vehicle that we've got here is my old Tundra. We actually just parted ways with the Tundra about 2 months ago, 3 months ago,
Oh wow.
and I really enjoyed it. It was a fun vehicle. I love the power that the engine brings. I love the 6.5 foot bed that gave me tons of room for storage.
Hmm.
I slept back there many a night. But there was a couple of things about it that I really would have enjoyed if
Hmm.
I could have had. For example, like about a foot and a half less width.
Full size life, man. I can't talk. So.
Yeah, it is a thing to be on a trail and scratch up your vehicle just the whole way. I've got Arizona pinstripes
Oh
on
yeah.
that vehicle and on many others, but that full size life, oof, it is really a thing. But it comes with all the benefits as well as all the cons, right?
Yeah.
Because I've literally
I
slept in that thing so many times.
exactly. I can relate to that a whole lot because I forgot to talk about the Canyon that I had, um, which is a 2018 diesel Canyon all terrain, which is like it's like a Z71 package basically, so not super off-roady, but enough. And with the diesel, that thing crawled everywhere.
Oh yeah.
But after driving the Subaru a lot, and frankly, like I bared the thing to the frame in Texas mud and was like, this is probably not the best idea. Like, there's no low range, especially with a manual. The first gear is just not designed for anything slow. Like, now, put that thing on a forest road out here doing about 40, it's magic. And I can't imagine what like a WRX on gravel tires is like. Like, it's too much fun. Like, I'm catching up to the UTVs and they get really confused when an Outback passes them. I'll just mention that. But anything slow and you're just hurting. And so the Canyon happened, and then we did a whole bunch more just adventures and off-roading, and especially out here, just tons and tons of exploring. But then it's Canyon, it's small. Um, we have I have two kids, and so when the second one was on the way, it was like we need something bigger, and so then we went, why not go for the largest SUV that anyone can buy, which is an Excursion.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
family life definitely changes the way that you wheel. That changes the way
Oh
that you
man.
get on the road.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
Talking about that, I mean, that's a great time to go into my trailers that I built.
Yeah, I wanna chat about those. Those look really cool.
So here we've got the green trailer. That was what I'll
They're both
call,
green.
well, okay. Yes.
I'm confused.
The one with the boy child in there.
Okay, okay, okay. The more
That one,
green one.
the
Yeah, okay.
forest green
Oh.
versus
Ooh.
kind of a gray green. Yeah, so that was Canon Adventure Trailer number one, and that was the first effort that I put into building an off-road trailer. And if you look at this, this is really fun. It was a boat trailer that I picked up off my dad for a John boat, and I took it home. Went to Home Depot. I bought
Yes.
some wood, and I had a new trailer. I had this new trailer because the Jeep was full with three kids and my
Yeah.
wife and myself, right? And
Oh,
so
100%.
a Jeep, being only a five-passenger vehicle, taking five people off-roading and
Hmm.
camping,
Hmm. Hmm.
yes, we needed some extra space. So I threw it in the back, we drug it down the hill, and it was good to go, right? So this first version, not much has changed. Those are like standard. I don't know. Those must be 15-inch tires. I mean, we're not talking
Yeah.
about anything impressive here. These are
Dude, I
standard
think they're
trailer
14s,
tires.
man. Like they're
They
tiny.
they are tiny, absolutely. But it's really funny actually. This location that we're at right there, we had to drop down about 8 feet to get into that area, and I wish that I had recorded my departure the next day because it was muddy and there was nobody there. And I have that spot marked on a map, and we call it
Mhm.
Magic Camp because it is just beautiful. There is this huge opening with those
Mhm.
pine trees all surrounding us, and we set up a zip line there, which is
Oh,
what
cool.
Christian is getting ready to do right there. That's my son Christian.
Gotcha.
Um, and so he's got his rig on and he's got a harness, and we're about to
Oh.
go and climb some trees and then do a zip lining. So that was a super fun adventure. That was the very first outing for that Canon Adventure trailer. And when I came back home, I had a neighbor who was like, "Oh, you've really got to get something a little cooler." And I was like, "I thought it was pretty cool, but yeah, maybe I could get some big tires or something." And so I came home with an M114, and
Nice.
I wish I would have had pictures of that. But this is a huge trailer. This is not the M105. This is the bigger version that
Yeah,
gets
the
towed
the
behind
the big boy. Yeah.
Humvees. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so ridiculous. And I tried that for like I don't know, maybe a month, and I had to cut off the top bars of it because it wouldn't fit in my garage, people.
Hmm.
This is how big this trailer was. And I was pulling it behind a Jeep, and I was going to go off-roading with it. That didn't pass the sniff check.
No, you were gonna make some wider trails, I think, with that. You know.
Or I was going to roll and die.
You know,
Entirely possible.
I was going with a positive
Oh yeah. Oh
outlook.
yeah. Absolutely. And that's what I was too when I made the purchase. But all of that to say, um, I got somebody who introduced me into overlanding, and he inspired the next trailer that I built, which is the other green one on the left with the rooftop tent on top. So that is a hand built trailer. I built the
Nice.
whole thing by myself. No, not really. I had
I was
help
about to say.
from my neighbor. He came over and ground a bunch of welds, and he helped me clean it up, man. He's like, you just go ahead and do all your welding, and then I'll come over and I'll go to hell on it with my grinder. He's like, there's so much grinding when you're doing these welds, so I'll help you out. So he
Wow.
helped me with that, and then I actually had an old coworker from the army who helped me with learn how to weld because I didn't know how to
Nice.
weld prior to this project. So this project was the first outcome of that, and it was a huge passion project, and I really enjoyed it. My build is on Expedition Portal, and I can link to that later so that you guys can check it out. But you can see me build it from the bare frame up, weld up the box, put the box all together, build all the arches, do everything like literally the tire, everything.
Yeah.
I even had to get the tires milled out because they didn't fit the axles. It was insane.
Wow.
Totally full
Nice.
custom job, and I'm sure it's still rolling around somewhere today because I sold it a couple of years ago.
Nice. What equipment are you welding with?
So I use a Hobart. It's just a 120, so
Oh,
it's
cool.
kind of the entry level MIG. But I don't really use gas, so that's kind of my level, right? You can tell I'm very project based, welding at home, that kind of good stuff. So
Nice. Nice.
yeah, my brother-in-law Dan helps me whenever I need to do anything with like aluminum or anything like that because he's got the full setup. He's got a
Hmm.
full 240 drop in his garage with AC and all that. So if I need
Nice.
anything, I go over there. That's
Right.
anything
Go
that's
to the
that's
go to the
real
professionals.
real detailed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've got a couple of buddies who are incredible welders. So it's always nice to see people learning the trade and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely. It's one of those things that I love doing and brings out the passion, right? It really does. Um, I didn't really talk about why I got into overlanding,
Hmm.
and I would like to actually just share that real quick.
Yeah,
Um,
let's do it.
I got into overlanding because of that trip that I came back from Afghanistan. I had kind of a personal tragedy. My son was killed while I was in Afghanistan, and it was kind of a domestic violence situation with my ex, and
Wow.
he ended up dying, and that put me into some really terribly dark places for a while. And the thing that really brought me out was
Hmm.
my wife basically dragging me around places as I just kind of sat there and was just like, I don't know what the hell's going
Stared into
on.
space. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But getting back with nature and finding solace and getting on the trail and having those really positive family moments, like going out and just creating all these adventures, because that was when we really started doing this thing we called Canon Adventures. And so
Uh-huh.
that's kind of our little family name we've picked. And so we call it Canon Adventures, and we get out and we go and we do things.
Oh
But
man, that's cool.
yeah, it was just such a crazy situation that brought us into it. And that was one of, 100 new hobbies that I picked up after things happened. And
Yeah.
it's the one that's stuck.
Yeah.
It's the one that's stuck. Like, I seriously went through so many different phases trying to just learn how to be a human again.
Yeah.
And getting on the road, getting pine trees around me, fresh air, quiet, peace. That is why I overland. I
Yeah.
overland to get away from everything, and I go to be with my family. And when my family can't be there, I go to be with me, and sometimes I don't like that, so then I come back home. But it's
Oh
good
man.
times. Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, Thank you for sharing that. I mean, my heart goes out to you, man. I couldn't imagine losing one of my kids, and uh, I'm happy that you found something like when you're talking about getting out to nature and finding that solace. That acts just spoke volumes to me because for me and my wife used to joke around or still joke around that it's highway therapy, and now it's dirt road therapy. Um,
absolutely.
but you just go out and everything kind of melts off and you kind of just recenter and it's kind of magical and you get these cool experiences that it's not a guided park. Here's the brochure of what you're going to see today. It's you go out there and what are you going to find when you go driving? It's magical.
Absolutely. And I've always joked, I've had this joke for, 10, 15 years. I use T-Mobile because the cell connection quits at the road. And so when I turn off that road, I'm cut off from
You're
work.
gone.
I don't
Hmm.
have any of those problems. I just have the people who are with me, and I have those moments, and I can take that time for that. And it's really great. Like,
Mm.
I love my wife and I, we still try to get off and go do, a trip, once every month, every other month,
Hmm.
depending. And it's really nice. We get out, and we're both parents, obviously, and we've got a lot of kids going on. And so it's really great to be able to just go take that time and be together. And for me, camping is a little bit of really good food in quiet or pretty places.
Yeah.
And I've talked a lot about, hey, all I want to do is I want to make memories, and I want to go and take pretty pictures in pretty places. And I asked my wife when we kind of talked about 2021, I was like, I really want to do that because, 2020, a lot of us stayed home. We
Yeah.
didn't do much.
Hmm.
And so I said, hey, I want to make sure that in 2021 and now going into 2022 that we go and we take pretty pictures in pretty places.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
overlanding gives me an area to do that, and so I really enjoy it.
Cool. Awesome. Very neat.
Well, let's segue into current vehicles.
Sure. Okay, let's talk about it. So I briefly touched on the Outback. Um, that's my wife's main car, and it's kind of like mildly. built, if you could even say. Like, it's a manual, so we did a couple of updates from Parent Performance just to make the shifting a little better in those cars. The shifter's a little vague, and then we put all terrains on it. Um, and that's about it. And the thing's just a little monster, especially when it snowed last year up here in northern Arizona. I mean, you didn't know it snowed driving the car. It was unreal. It's
That's
Subaru all-wheel
awesome.
drive is magic. It's something else. And then we go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, which is the Excursion. Um, when we realized the canyon was way too small, we were looking around and we were thinking like something 3 row. And then my wife said the magical word that any fan of Ford vehicles likes to hear, which is, "What's the largest SUV we could buy?" And she knew by my Cheshire Cat grin that I had a plan. And so it was the Excursion. I've always loved these. Um, I went with the gas 6.8 liter V10 um, because simply they're way cheaper. Everyone with the diesel ones wants silly, silly, silly money for a car that at its absolute newest is 16 to 17 years old. So 2005, last year they built them. It's a limited, so it's got like heated seats and fancy stuff like that. Um, we haven't really done much of anything with it, just driven it. It's on, all seasons. Uh, but it seems to go everywhere. It's heavy, so it really doesn't need a locker yet, but we'll get to future plans. And, you got to do something to these trucks. But
There you
it's
go.
it's been great. And what my wife really likes is she can sit in the back with the two boys um, and have plenty of room. You can still have a bunch of, I have all my recovery equipment, traction boards and an air compressor and all that stuff in the back. And then I still have room for groceries or the Costco trip or whatever. And then you can pop it into 4-wheel drive and go explore after whatever you want to do. And it's been enjoyable. I really like the truck. I'm impressed by it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean those full size vehicles, like you said, right? They bring us so much benefit when you've got stuff to carry around. And
Yeah.
in your case, right? Like, so I had a ton of, I had like a camper shell on the back, right?
Hmm.
And that was great, but it wasn't as great as all of the fully enclosed because you can really store some stuff without having to worry about it. Either weathering or getting stolen.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like my Canyon had a cap on it, but that's the thing. Like, you quickly learn a cap is not weatherproof at all. Dust finds its way in everywhere. And yeah, you struggle to get
Absolutely.
back there. It's crazy. And, yeah, it's a great rig. Yeah.
Right on.
And you mentioned pinstriping. I was specific to get a tan, Arizona tan truck. Because let me tell you, that canyon of mine looked nice and white and pretty, but if you put a light down the side of that thing, it was all pinstripes. And so I traded it in on a bright sunny day, so they didn't really show up.
That's awesome. Well, my next vehicle was to go ahead and pick up this
Hmm.
2019 Forerunner, the one that's pictured by itself.
Hmm.
And that's a fun vehicle. The story with that was we decided we wanted to get rid of the Tundra,
Uh-huh.
and my wife was like, she's like, "Hey, I'm thinking about a new Forerunner." She's like, "And you keep talking about loving this Forerunner," and I was like, "Do you want to turn in the Tundra and get a new Forerunner?" She was like, "Yes." I was like, "Okay, let's do it." Because as everybody knows, right? Toyota, the Tacomas, the Forerunners, there's an insane aftermarket
Oh my
set
gosh.
of everything, right? You can get everything. You can fully customize your vehicle. And that hugely appealed to me. I mean, there are
Hmm.
so many different customizations to do to these things, and I'm not even done. I'm not even close to
Yeah.
done, right?
Yeah.
Like this is a fun vehicle to have the opportunity to get into. So right now, I've got a roof rack on it.
Hmm.
Westcott Designs, they're here local in Phoenix, Arizona. Um, I've got KO2s, or no, these are open countries. Sorry, Toyo. Well, I usually run KO2s,
Okay.
but COVID, so things weren't available. But open country Toyo Tech tires, right? All that good stuff. They're 33s. That's the most I
Mhm.
can run inside of a Forerunner. I
Yeah,
did
because
do.
any bigger, you've got to like what cut body mounts and stuff like that.
Yes. So I do
Yeah.
have a slight bit of rubbing. Um, I've got the Bilstein 5100.
Hmm.
Adjustable springs, all that good stuff, and I did do the the springs in the back. I did front and back, and I did upper control arms, the whole
Yeah.
thing. So I got as close as I could. I have slight rubbing. Eventually, I'll do the body chop. That stuff's gonna
Yeah.
happen. Custom bumpers, rear and forward, are probably gonna happen. Rear might not actually happen because
Hmm.
a lot of different companies, but Westcott Designs down in Phoenix, they have a hitch mounted tire carrier
Gotcha.
that I saw at the Overland Expo, and I'll give them credit. It looks really good, and it allows you to still have the ladder on the back of your Forerunner, and that is
Nice.
one of my next purchases after Christmas. We got to get through Christmas, but yeah,
See what's
it's
left and hope it's enough for a ladder.
absolutely, yeah. So we'll get that going, but then you've got the ladder, you get the tire carrier, and you're really
Mhm.
set up there. So I think
Yeah, definitely.
I may skip the rear bumper, because going with a full rear bumper, it's just another thing to put back on when you sell it, and B, you've got all the extra weight, right? If you do a full back bumper, whereas if you put on that tire carrier and you don't
Hmm.
need that tire carrier when you're going to the mall crawl, you just
Kick it
take it
out.
right off. Yeah. And there's a
Hmm.
100 pounds right off of your vehicle. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a buddy who has one that's similar.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm very interested in checking them out. I really like the way they look. So
Nice.
that'll be something we get to. And then the other one is we got a 2021 Toyota 4Runner,
Hmm.
and she wants to get tires. She got
Oh,
very jealous when she saw my suspension and tires when I put them on, because that was
oh,
the
of course.
deal. I said, hey, look, I can't drive your 4Runner. I'm coming from a Tundra that was lifted and on tires. I was
Hmm.
like, I'm not going to be able to drive it if it doesn't feel like it's mine. And the first thing and the most important thing to make it feel like it's mine is to get those tires and to get that suspension. And so we literally did it like the first week that we'd done the trade.
Dang.
And and she was just like, "Okay, I like those tires. I would like that." And and so, you know, next year she's going to get some new tires and suspension, or maybe not suspension, but definitely she'll get some new
Yeah.
tires and a new look, and
Yeah.
it's fun. So,
That's always good. Like my wife's into cars and stuff too. And people are like, "Oh, that must be great." It's like, no, because I have to mod all of her stuff too.
it's
Like,
twice as expensive.
nothing in this, no vehicles in this family stay stock. It's not an option. So like, everything has to have some changes to it. That's good.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky there. My wife is she likes what I've done, but she also turns her nose up just a little bit at some of the customizations I've done. I
Uh
put a
huh.
drawer and so it was a 7 passenger Forerunner, right? So 3
Hmm.
rows,
Yeah.
and the second project that I did after tires and suspension was to remove. I did a 60% seat delete in
Hmm.
the second row, and I did a 100% seat delete in the back row.
Gotcha.
So it's a 3 passenger Forerunner now. And she's like, "Where are we going to drive people around in?" And I was like, "Well, that's why you've got the 5 passenger."
Exactly.
So, yeah, we've got a 16-year-old now.
Hmm.
And so we're at the stage of having multiple people driving around, right? Like
Yeah.
we're going to have him driving, and so, we've got 2 vehicles, and that's really cool. We can
Is
just go
he
that
is
route.
uh is he into off-roading or cars or anything?
He had a blast for his 16th birthday. Don't tell internet, don't tell the people in Flagstaff, but but
I know where this is going.
we rented a Razor, and he's a licensed driver,
Yeah.
right? But the insurance wouldn't have. I don't know. Whatever it is, they were like, don't let anybody under the age of 21 drive. We were like, 21. He's 16. Okay, so he had a blast. He drove the Forerunner, and he drove the Razor sometimes, and really he drove the Razor like almost the whole time. But he had a blast. We were up in the mud and slipping and sliding and just doing everything we could, and we had so
Wow,
much fun.
that sounds amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my 3-year-old is very into cars, so I'm happy. As long as I get one of them obsessed with this,
Right on.
financial downfall of a hobby, like I'm happy.
Absolutely. And I mean, we know we're shelling out a ton of money here. We know we're giving over everything, but for me, why do I do it? Because it brings me back, right? It brings me
Mhm.
back. It gives me peace and so much joy. And being able to give that to my son, right? Getting him into it, that was such a cool experience
Oh, for sure.
because he really loved it. Like, and it was so fun too because so he drove the Razor around for a while,
Hmm.
and he's just like punching it and going through everything, and this is literally the weekend after I've done my suspension,
Hmm.
and I'm like, okay, you can drive the Forerunner like it's fun, but this is brand new suspension. You better not break it. So we did have fun. We had mud. It was raining while we were driving, so we had extra mud, and it was fun. We got to play around near Schnebley
Geez.
Hill,
Okay.
and I highly encourage the area. It's a little busy in the summers,
Yeah.
but easy to access, which is why it's busy. But really
Right.
beautiful, fun area.
Nice. Yeah, we're going to Sedona area in November, so it's mostly planned as an on-road trip. But hey, we're taking the excursion, so anything can happen.
There you
Yeah.
go. Well, just to
Exactly.
remind folks, we do have the Discord running, and I can see we've got Ozark Bear and uh, Phil here. They're chatting in there about
Hmm.
different vehicles, and so just remember, everybody, you can join us and discuss things that's going on in the Discord channel.
Yeah.
Check the link on the YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, and you can find us in Discord. Otherwise, honestly, if you just go to disboard.com and you search for Overland, we're the only channel there. So come and grab us. Yeah, we're holding strong. We're rocking it, and it's pretty awesome. So a little commercial break for our own product there, the Overland Discord channel.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're
Cool.
looking for we're looking for volunteers. We're looking for people who want to participate. If you're from another region other than the U.S., we're looking for what I'm calling region ambassadors. So we're
Mhm.
looking for people who kind of want to host the conversations and people who want to post about events that are happening in your area. So we've got a form, and if you would like to volunteer, we'd love for you to check that out. So come on, head over to the Discord and be part of the fun.
Hell yeah, it's a good time.
Absolutely. All right.
So you talked about what your kind of future plans are. So like you're thinking bumper up front, possibly. You're doing the ladder after Christmas, and then the tire carrier. Is that kind of like the general? That's the focus plan for right now.
That's the focus plan for right now. I will come over real quick and show what kind of next thoughts would be.
Hmm.
Would be, I love these trailers,
Yeah,
and so this is my trailer setup that I'm currently on. And so
nice.
anybody who's ever slept in a rooftop tent, you know that if it's on top of a car, that can mean being anywhere from 7 feet up in the air to 8 feet up in the air to 9 feet up in the air. And that 2 a.m. nature's call, I mean, there's some creative ways, right? Like wide mouth Gatorades for the men and lots and lots of patience for the women. But it's fun, right? Not
Hmm.
so much. So, what we've got here, I've gone in and I've got my trailer, and that trailer is about 5.5 feet, maybe even, no, it's not 6. It's like 5.5 feet off the ground, right? And that makes me only have to take one or two steps
Hmm.
to get in or out. And
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, that's improved the camping experience hugely.
Huh.
hugely. I was real lucky. I bought this trailer off of a former coworker. He gave it to me for a steal, and the best part about it, we've camped in it 3 or 4 times since we bought it. But I'm already looking to kind of change the game up
Mhm.
because for me, even though it's off-roading, even though it's overlanding, I still want a good night's sleep.
Hey, can't sacrifice too many creature comforts.
Yeah, and if you want to sleep multiple nights on the road and you're not looking to get the hotel room, then you've really got to get that better sleeping experience. So,
Mhm.
for my future build plans, I think I'm going to probably end up going with something a little bit more like this.
Nice.
So, we'll talk about this guy in a moment here, but this is an off-grid trailer, and I'm not quite in the tax bracket where I'll be buying one, but it's winter, so I might be building one.
There
And
you
when I do
go.
say winter, it's very air quotes winter because this is Arizona. It's
It's Phoenix.
88
It's
degrees
Phoenix.
today in Phoenix.
I'll call you
88
on that one.
degrees. Yeah, it's Phoenix, Arizona. So it's warm here. But, it's the perfect time to get a project going. So my next design is going to probably look something more like this. I'm
Very
thinking I'm
cool.
going to just take the box off of my last vehicle and just build a new box right on top of it. Because really,
Nice.
what I want to do is I want to build a sleigh for my bed. That's really all I need. I really just need a queen sized box that I
Hmm.
can sleep in. And so that's what I'm going to probably build. And then I'll put a kitchenette at the back.
Nice.
Um,
Very cool.
yeah. There's a really cool product. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called the 5 Second Kitchen. It's not on sale yet, and the website changed and doesn't have any graphics, so I didn't link it here. Um, because it doesn't have any graphics. Now it just says, "Hey,
Yeah.
sign up, stuff's
Coming
coming
soon.
soon,"
Yeah. Hmm.
and it doesn't even show the picture, so I won't bother
Is that
showing
the
it to you.
one like I think I saw the videos from Overland where it just like unfolds and it's like like
That's right.
Tetris is out and you've got this crazy kitchen. Oh, that thing looks so cool.
It's awesome. You got to check it out. It's called the 5 Second Kitchen. It's from Parnell from Overland Bound. Michael and he designed it, and it's on Michael's ride.
Mhm.
But check it out, Overland Bound on YouTube or overlandbound.com, and they've got a really great setup. That thing is sick. I am currently working on prototyping something similar
Mhm.
ish. Mine's going to be an aluminum chuck box.
Mhm.
And so then that I'll be able to either hitch mount, which is a fun option,
Yeah.
or I'll end up mounting it on my trailer. So
Gotcha.
yeah, but I'm thinking about using just a 2-inch receiver so that you can put it on when you need it. You can take it off when you don't.
Right. Now I've seen a lot of stuff built around like making a 2-inch receiver system. That sounds really cool. Like you were talking the tire carrier and then a kitchen. And I've even seen like if you get into like horses and stuff, like the farriers have a bunch of stuff that like they just bolt everything into a receiver to have all their tools available. It's a great system.
Yeah, those are really awesome. They're really, really portable too. And I love the fact that some of them, not all of them, but some of them have pass through so that you can
Hmm.
still run your trailer.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I'm very into that.
That's neat.
Westcott Designs, their tire carriers are not just tire carriers; they can be other things as well. And that's one of the things that they do is they have a pass through for your trailer.
Nice.
And yes, please, because I'm towing the sled, man. I'm towing the
Yeah,
sled. I gotta have the bed sled. That's what I call it. So
you know.
that's my thing. But
Hey man, if your beard gets a little bit more whiter and you got a sled, I mean, I'm just putting things together here, and you'll be the Overland Santa.
I can go for Overland Santa as long as it doesn't get too much whiter. But Overland Santa, oh yeah. Well,
Imagine scuttles for everyone.
I know, right? Seriously. Well, let's talk about your excursion goals.
Sure. So this is the very, very famous Expedition Portal excursion, which I take a lot of inspiration from. I tend to read his thread a lot. It's a great reference. He did a lot of research and everything. Now his truck was a diesel, the famous 7.3. Um, so it's a little bit of a different ball game, but really my takeaways for it were a mild lift, about 4 inches. Now an excursion is an F250 lowered 2 inches. So when you put an F250 2 inch kit on it, it's a 4 inch lift for an excursion, but they kind of need it. So something like that, 35s, which is what this has on it right now, in this picture. And I wouldn't go as far as like the bumpers and stuff, but like I want onboard air and a fridge, and that's pretty much it for the truck for the basic build out. Um, and the problem with the V10 trucks is they absolutely need gears, to go bigger tires.
Yeah.
Especially my truck's a 373 rear gear, and that's just not enough. Now, if it was the optional 410, 430 truck, I could jump up in tire size and not have too much of an issue. But with 373s, even the stock tires, they're like, yeah, you're about your limits. So re-gear it with like 456s and a locker because you're going in. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then 35s, and it fits 35s actually under stock suspension. You just have a little bit of rubbing on the leaf springs, but hey, whatever. But yeah, do that and it should go just about anywhere.
That's awesome. Very cool. And then I think we're gonna. Boop. Now we'll talk about our build picks for this week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the build picks. You
Cool.
went with this
So
guy.
yeah, so this is Overland under budget. His name's Micah. Really neat guy. Um, does stuff on more of a budget, and he's got a family, so it's kind of a similar interest set. Um, and he just absolutely documents the hell out of everything he makes, and he does some really cool builds. I pictured he built a custom center stack, and that's like an Amazon doubled in Android head unit that like he self-wired his cameras and stuff. That's his factory HVAC bolted in, and then below it it's a switch panel that just runs everything, a lot of his factory stuff. um, and he has a whole series on how he built that 270-degree awning. He built that himself with a welder. He won a welder in a contest and taught himself how to weld. And then his ultimate project is that tray with a camper on top of it. And it's just incredible. And he has a lot of innovative solutions and kind of comes up with neat ways to do stuff that I really like. And it's all approachable because he's building it in his garage, and he's a friendly, outgoing guy, and really just kind of tests everything. And it's not just I got free product. It's no, let's really try this out and see what I can do with it. And then, why spend a couple grand on a 270-degree awning? Here's how he built it. And then he gives you the plans. So if you have a welder and a neighbor who happens to grind, you're set.
That's really awesome. Yeah, you told me about this guy. I missed him at the Overland Expo. He was there. He was
Mhm.
showcasing the vehicle. Really wish I would have seen it in person. Missed opportunity.
Right.
But Micah, we're coming for you. We're gonna get you on the show. We love what you're doing. We really think that you're inspiring. It's awesome. Your tray is amazing. It's
Mhm.
worthy of all the praise that they can give you in Australia, where they pioneered these concepts.
Right.
I mean, that's sexy. I love
Yeah.
it. I
And what
love
you
it.
can't see about the tray from like this picture is that it all folds out. So he's got a bunch of Pelican cases that are hidden underneath it that hold all of his like recovery gear and stuff like that. So it's really innovative storage solutions and a neat way to store things. So he's thinking about it. It's not just, doing it for the gram. He's like, well, I have all this crap to carry. It's a Tacoma. There's not tons of room. Here's how to figure this all out. So it's really neat.
Yeah, he's really solved the camper solution for the Tacoma really well. So
Hmm.
if you guys haven't seen this before, the topper, kind of like an AT Overland, pops up, except
Hmm.
for instead of folding forward and you sleep on top of it, it's just a pop top. And
Hmm.
so he gets about what, about 5-6 feet of clearance.
Something
I
like
don't
that.
I don't know if he can stand up in there, but he's certainly got plenty of headroom. It's really comfortable for camping. Check him out on Instagram. Check out
Hmm.
his YouTube. He's got really cool stuff. Obviously 75,000 followers. People like what he's doing. You're gonna like
Mhm.
what he's doing if you're a Tacoma fan, or if you want to put it on a Ford Ranger, or if you want to put it on, your Hilux, whatever you want to put it on. Like, this type of build is so appealing and so cool, and I can't wait to see more people doing what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really great. I didn't steal this guy from you because you're the one who
You
showed
knew.
me,
You
so
knew
I
I was
couldn't.
go you knew.
I knew you were gonna do it, so I picked somebody else. But I was like, oh, this is a great choice. Micah looks like a really cool guy. I'd love to meet you, man, and love to get this thing going. We can talk about it. But there you go.
Let's see who you picked.
So I picked a neighbor who can grind. I don't think I had I don't think I had told you about this, but my neighbor, his name is Chris Cracked, really cool guy. He's a pilot in his day job, and
Nice.
he is a crazy overlander in his free time. And he's got a little channel going on. He's got some good stuff. He's also a Gaia sponsor, Gaia ambassador.
Nice.
So if you have any questions about Gaia, he can hook you up with that. Anything to do with your maps, he's really solid in that area. And he drives the off-grid trailers. Those are pretty awesome. Um, he was
Awesome.
driving this FJ that you see in the bottom right
I see
hand.
that. Those are
He was
beautiful.
driving that when I first met him. He's now on to a Forerunner. So there's all sorts of Forerunner jealousy when I see his stuff. Um, but really great setup, really cool, and he does tours. So if you're looking for somebody who can show you different parts of Arizona or the Southwest, he's been to a lot of
Nice.
places. He's done a lot of really cool stuff, and he's a really cool guy, real fun. He
Wow.
goes to the expos, does
Mhm.
booth stuff. So check him out. It's 4XOA or 4xoverlandadventures.com,
Wow.
and
Cool.
it's good stuff.
Nice.
That's my build of the week.
Sweet. All right.
Now we're into the gear review portion.
Sweet. So mine is the Ironman 4x4 Air Champ Pro compressor. Um, Air and up and down is one of those key things that you don't realize how useful it is until you do it. And then you're like, wait a minute, this is free suspension. Pretty much. Um, and so I chose this compressor. It's got a high CFM rating. It fills the tires pretty fast. Um, what you really want when you get into more serious overlanding is to have something that connects directly to the battery. Like if you're running off a cigarette lighter, you just don't have a lot of power. And so this is one of those with the alligator clamps that clamps in. Um, and I really enjoy it. I made my own DIY 2-in-1 fill system. I'm going to convert it to a 4-in-1 pretty soon and try and convert the Ironman over into an onboard air system, um, just to save time, because like it's like the dilemma when you're sitting at the grocery store. It's like, well, do you go in the line with a whole bunch of people with one item, or the line with like a grandma with 500 items, and it tends to be that 500 item goes faster just because all the little setup stuff you don't have to do over and over and over again. So it's the same thing with a 2-in-1 setup or a 4-in-1 setup. Um, it's the Ironman is cheaper than some of the competitors. Um, at the end of the day, it's just maintain your equipment, and it seems to last. It's been working fantastic for us, and dust, snow, rain, like it's been fine. The only thing that tends to be the downside of these compressors is that they have proprietary fittings.
Mm-hmm.
So like the main hose has this weird metric thing, and what you can actually do with some careful Amazon searching is find the adapter to adapt yourself out to standard pipe thread, and then you can do whatever the hell you want, which is great. Um, but that's about it. Otherwise, I absolutely love the thing. It's great.
That's awesome. When you go for onboard, where are
Mhm.
you gonna mount it?
That's the big question. I don't want to put it in the cabin because it's just gonna, it's loud.
Noise. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't want to put it underneath because I my one like overlanding, like my goal on a trip is to try to find a water crossing. Like I just think they're neat. And my older son likes, he wants the windows down and everything. And then my youngest, my 6-month old, is super fascinated by water already. So I have a feeling he's going to be the same way. And like whenever we want to stop and play, like they want to find a stream or a river or lake or something, which up here in northern Arizona, there's actually a lot of. Um, so it's like I don't want to put it underneath, but then there's not a ton of space under the hood. So I don't know. I'm like, I think what I have to do is I need to do some CAD, some cardboard aided design, and just make a box that's the size of the compressor, and just, where can I shove this thing, um, and figure that out.
I'm I'm thinking about a similar thing. I got the
Hmm.
Viair,
Hmm.
and
Nice.
it's got the alligator clamps, all that good stuff. And I'm thinking about running onboard air and routing it through, and doing a permanent install. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking about going for where my spare tire was,
Oh, I
because that
like
gets
that.
me pretty high,
Hmm.
but then it's still outside the cabin, so that noise volume is down.
Yeah.
But then it's underneath the vehicle, so it's still suppressing a lot of that noise, dampening a lot of that noise.
Yeah.
So that's probably where I'm gonna go, is for either there. But I also do have space. Forerunners come built in with space for a second battery, but
Hmm.
because I run lithium ion batteries, I have to
Yeah.
keep them in the cab.
Hmm.
So I can't use that second space. So I may end up putting it under the hood.
Hmm.
Obviously that extra heat doesn't make things work better, but it is designed to be an outdoor one. It does have,
Yeah.
extended load, all that good stuff. So, maybe we'll see.
Hmm.
I'd love to see what you do with your 4 in
Yeah.
1. If you can document how to build your 4
Of
in
course.
1, I'd love to see that.
I have documented the 2-in-1. Let me grab that.
We'll throw it up in our
Grab that.
Discord. That's what it's
I know,
there
right?
for.
Right? What am I doing?
Share
Not
your
posting
build
it in the
ideas
Discord.
with us,
What a
folks.
bad person?
Absolutely.
So let's put that in build ideas, I think would be a great spot.
It's very appropriate.
Bam. And maybe WordPress will play nice and generate. There we go. Perfect. Don't you love it when the internet works?
Oh, it's so great.
And the main thing, like a 2-in-1 is really easy to put together. Like if you've ever bought air tools and had to screw on the fittings, that's all you're really doing. The important thing, however, is measure once, multiple times, cut once. Um, but really, I mean, frankly, you're just going to buy your lines off Amazon to whatever length you need. But figuring that out is really important. Like when I first built this, it was 2 6-foot lines, and I was like, oh, that's plenty. It's not plenty. You forget, where the tires are in the truck and how big the bed is. Cause like the front, it was perfect. And I had tested it on the front and I'm like, this works great. And then I went to the back and like the line was like stretched around the tailgate. And like most of the time that's fine, but like you don't want to have your air fitting sitting in the dust. Like you could lay it on the ground and it'd be fine. But like one time we filled up at the snow and it's just like, oh my God, like mud and snow everywhere. And that was
Yep.
terrible. But yeah, it's really easy to put together. It's a fun little project. And yeah, I'll be converting mine over to 4 and then redoing the whole write up.
If I end up doing, well, when I do the front bumper,
Hmm.
I'm gonna install an air chuck on
Nice.
the bumper,
Yeah, that's
and
the way to do it.
then, I've got that easy, just plug it in right there, boom, boom, and then, the concept would be to do the same thing on the back, except for, like I said, I've been thinking about not actually replacing the back bumper.
Hmm.
So what I could do is I could put an air chuck right next to. That's what I think I'm gonna do. I'll fab it up
Hmm.
so that I've just got it mounted right next to the trailer harness.
Yeah.
And if I go off of that, I have a factory trailer harness. So if I go off
Yeah.
of that, that's a pretty solid connection, and there should be other stuff to hit it. Maybe I can make a
Right.
little box around it so it doesn't break. But
Yeah, I was just looking, I thought I had a link to a really well done air chuck protection piece, but I'm not seeing it in my massive list of links. But I'll try and find it. But it was a nice, like it was some Land Rover supply company, but a really nice piece that just protects the chuck but still lets you slide the collar and everything. And
that's
it'd be
awesome.
perfect. I'll try and find that for you.
Yeah, I love quick connects. I have air at home. I have it all
Hmm.
routed at home in my garage, and so it's so nice to just be able to grab the one from the roof, pull it
Hmm.
down, work on whatever project I need to work on, and then go on. and having that on the road is going to be key. Right now, I've got it, it's in a bag strapped up to my Molly panels in the back of the Forerunner,
Hmm.
and you just like try to pull it down, and it's a whole
It's a
setup.
mess, and yeah, and then you get done, and you're like, I have all this hose, like yeah, totally agree. All right, let's talk about what your gear is.
So my gear review is actually really straight up. It is
Mhm.
the Discata 17-inch griddle, and I call it the
Nice.
budget scuttle. Um, if you look right now, this thing is $67 on Amazon. If you have been to an expo, if you have been
Hmm.
to expeditionportal.com, you have seen a scuttle selling for $399. It looks sexy. It looks
Of
awesome.
course.
The food that you cook in it tastes very good. It's similar to wok style cooking
Yeah.
if you've ever done wok style cooking. Um, it's hugely effective. It's a great platform to work on. It's really nice. It's a single burner. You have to add the single burner, which is so
Yeah.
that's why we're $67. People, we're talking about a piece of cast iron with
Yeah.
three
Cast
legs
iron
to
and
screw
legs.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's super simple. These legs are about 12 inches long, maybe
Okay.
14 inches long, and you set them on your tabletop. It's
Yeah.
just big enough to where you can clear the 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 pound of gas and the burner that
The
goes on
butane
top of
burner.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
burners, and you can use the Coleman ones, you can use MSI, you can use
Hmm.
any style. It doesn't matter. Put heat here, right? You
Yeah.
can actually cook on this over a fire. Like
Right. That's what it looks
this thing
like.
is versatile. Yeah, the legs are metal, so they're meant to be cooked. They're
Oh
not
yeah.
they're not plastic. These are metal.
I pulled this up on Amazon already, and I'm pretty sure it's getting added to my cart. But yeah, and it's just threaded. So if you're smart,
Industrious. Yep.
yeah, exactly. And ooh, see, we got the $5 words today. Yeah, you can make this. You can make it a scuttle. Just put a fancy logo on it. Don't tell
And if you're
nobody.
not industrious, PVC pipe PVC pipe is broad enough to thread over or to
Yeah.
slide over these legs. So you can literally just throw in some PVC pipe leg extensions and you can be cooking like a scuttle,
This is
right?
amazing.
Yeah, $67 people. I mean, come on.
Oh
Come on.
man.
So I'm gonna be honest. I was meant to wake up this morning and cook my breakfast on this and show you a video of it. It was a late night. It's my
Mhm.
15-year-old's birthday this weekend, and so I didn't quite get to it. But I will make a video. I will post it in Discord. I'll post it on YouTube.
Nice.
Let you guys see it. It's an
Hmm.
awesome product. I love
Yeah,
it.
that's great.
I've taken
Oh,
it with me on one trip. I didn't video because I didn't think about it. But really cool tool. And if you like cooking on cast iron, boom, this is it,
yeah,
right? And
simple.
there's a carrying case for it, $22, right? This stuff is all very
Oh,
budget
what?
friendly. Yeah,
All
there's
right,
a
I gotta.
carrying case for it. Oh, it's crazy. I'll send you a bunch of links.
All
We'll
right,
put the links on the YouTube for you folks. Check this
that's
thing
awesome.
out. It's a no-brainer. Um, you know, if you like to cook when you camp, and for me, overlanding is about good food in pretty places. Like that's it, right? Keep it simple. So I would love the 5 second kitchen. I'm working towards building myself a 5 second kitchen, but this is a great solution for a more basic setup.
Right?
And
Yeah.
check it out. It's not $400. Uh,
Spend the rest of that money on good meat.
Good meat and your air compressor
Oh, see?
because
Oh, bam,
you can get
bam.
both of ours for the cost of a scuttle.
Look at this. It deals by the minute.
Absolutely. So, good times. That's my gear review. Pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. Just a real useful product to throw in and get your game going. If you like cooking on a walk, cook it up. You can throw some fried rice in there. I've seen scuttle pizza. I've seen fish fries. I've seen steak. If
Nice.
if you like food, this is for you.
Nice.
So, yeah, very cool. Well, I think that's it for gear reviews.
Sweet, sweet.
We're right
Do
at
we
about
have
an
our
hour.
studio audience?
Yeah, so I'm going to go check the Discord real quick and see if anybody has any questions. Um, do. Doesn't look like we've got anybody asking questions at the moment, but we do want to just let you guys know we're going to be doing this. Right now, we're thinking we're going to shoot for once a month.
Mm-hmm.
We may end up talking to Method Coffee
Mm-hmm.
and see if they're interested in having us do their cruisers and coffee that they
Yeah.
do once a month and kind of line it up with that. Um, the concept there, we would, we'd be there. They got tables out front, lots
Yeah.
of folks showing off their cool vehicles. I took pictures of cruisers and coffee last week and posted them in the Discord. There was a Pinsgauer showed up. There
Mm-hmm.
was a
That pins
super
is nice.
cool. Oh, that Pins was cool. There was an AT Overland, just a big rig with all sorts
Mm-hmm.
of fun stuff going on. Guys, if you like to see stuff, if you want build ideas, go reach out to your community, right? You can reach out
Mm-hmm.
through Discord or check out your socials, right? Go find other people who are doing cool stuff because I can tell you, you know, going through some craziness in my own life and having community, having family to around to be support you, it's hugely beneficial. And,
Mm-hmm.
I love going to these things, taking my wife and she's like, "What are you doing now? What are you doing now?" "Oh, we're going and checking stuff out." Right? We're going and checking
Don't you look
stuff
over
out.
there. Don't look at that.
She's like, "Oh, you want to see what I saw at work yesterday? Oh, this guy had a crazy cool Forerunner. Oh, he had a crazy cool Jeep." She knows. She
Oh man.
knows.
Oh
They know
yeah.
us.
They know. Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's good stuff. All right, guys. Well, this has been really cool. It's been really fun. We hope you enjoyed it. Uh, check us out next time or check us out anytime in the Discord.
Mm-hmm. We welcome everybody.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much and take care.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Yep. We'll see you next time with episode 2.